Please stand up to receive their excellencies. Please sit down. Your Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Honorable Ministers of Uganda and Tanzania, Governors, Bank of Uganda and Bank of Tanzania, Chief Executive Officer and Chairman Total, the President of SINUC, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. The late Dr. John Pombe Magufuli had very strong conviction about infrastructure development, not only in Tanzania, but in the region. He was in particular very strong and supported the development of the East African crude oil pipeline. Your Excellencies, with your permission, I request that we give him a minute of silence in recognition of his efforts. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Your Excellencies, my name is Robert Kasande, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, Uganda. I take a lot of pleasure and joy to welcome you all and congratulate our two sister countries, our partners, Total and SINUC, for this very important milestone. A day when we agree to start the investment in construction of infrastructure that will produce and transport the crude oil. This day would never have come if it was not for your strategic decisions, Your Excellency. Your story, when Shell visited you in 1996 and wanted to be licensed the entire Albertine region, and you asked whether there was anybody knowledgeable about the oil business, and all you could get was a consultant economist in the Bank of Uganda, and you couldn't negotiate because you didn't have the right team. That story has motivated many of us. When you sent us to train and understand the science of oil and gas, Your Excellency, sir, we did not eat your fees. We learned, we understood, we came back and went to the jungles of the Albertine Graben, and we found the oil. Upon your recommendation, sir, the late Dr. John Pombe Magufuli asked us to work alongside his scientists to undertake preliminary oil exploration in the inland basin of Eyasi Wembere in central Tanzania. That collaboration has been going on between our two sister countries. Your Excellency, through your strategic guidance, the right policies and laws were done. Many countries, as a matter of fact, have been producing oil for decades and have been coming here to benchmark with us on how to make the right policies and legislation. One of those key policies is the local content, which we believe ought to see Ugandans participate meaningfully and gainfully following this decision to proceed with construction of infrastructure for the development of the petroleum resources. We noted, sir, that during exploration and appraisal period, when about $3.5 billion was spent, 28% of that amount, equivalent to $900 million, went to suppliers and contractors of Ugandan origin. Now, with the spend expected to be $15 billion during this development phase, we expect that Ugandan companies will participate through supply of goods and services, and about 30%, which is equivalent to $5 billion, will come to Ugandan companies. We believe that this should be a catalyst for the rebound of the economy following the hit the economy has had due to COVID-19. In that regard, allow me to call upon Total and SINOC to take deliberate effort and action to abide by the requirements of local content so that those expected benefits can be realized. On our part, together with the United Republic of Tanzania and with the support of the African Development Bank, we are training small and medium enterprises along the pipeline route to enhance their capacity to participate through employment and supply of goods and services. Once again, I congratulate and appreciate everyone who has been part of this journey. All institutions of government, private sector, and civil society, for God and my country. I now take the pleasure to invite the Honorable Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, Dr. Margaret Kitutu, to come and give her opening remarks. I thank you.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, Your Excellency, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan, the Cabinet Ministers of the Government of Uganda and the Government of Tanzania, the Chief Executive Officer and Chairman and delegation from the Total SE, the President and delegation from China National Offshore Oil Company, SINOC, the Board Chairperson of Petroleum Authority of Uganda, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellencies, the Presidents of the Republic of Uganda and the United Republic of Tanzania, I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to address you and other members present at this memorable event in the journey of developing the oil and gas sector of Uganda that I lead. Your Excellencies, allow me to recognize some of the people I've worked with to achieve what we are celebrating today. I will begin with the Attorney General of Uganda. Mr. William, you can wave to Excellency. He led the legal negotiations. Thank you very much. The Minister of Finance for Uganda, he led the physical negotiations. Thank you very much. Here present, we also have Cabinet Ministers from Uganda. I begin with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who has ably coordinated the protocol for this function. We have the Minister of Presidency, Honorable Esther Mbayo, who has always given us support whenever we need services or whenever I want to access His Excellency the President. I also have colleagues, my Minister of State for Mineral Development, Honorable Sarah Pendi. She's always by my side because if I collapse, she takes over immediately. So we've run the sector together. We also have the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Honorable Uriemo Kero, who is with us here and has always given us support on foreign engagements. Your Excellencies, on behalf, or before I go on, I would also like to recognize my counterpart on the side of the government of Tanzania, Dr. Medad Kalemani. And before I go on, I think Dr. Medad Kalemani, it will not be fair if I don't allow you also to say a word and greet the congregation here.
Honorable Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, and Honorable Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, ministers and ambassadors, protocols are observed. I feel greatly very much honored to afford this opportunity to say a little bit on this project, which is a big milestone for the two countries. However, Honorable Presidents, since my counterpart, the Minister, will be speaking in the national or official language in Uganda, allow me also, if you permit me, to talk in my official language in Tanzania. I will switch into Kiswahili. And in this return, I will request and call upon our colleagues from France and China to get direct translations. Mheshimiwa Rais Kaguta Museveni na Mheshimiwa Samia Suluhu Hassan, kwa niaba ya wataalamu wa Tanzania, napenda nitoe shukrani kwenu kwa tukio hili kubwa la kushuhudia kuanza hatua kubwa za utekelezaji wa mradi huu. Mheshimiwa Rais Museveni na Mheshimiwa Samia Suluhu Hassan, mwezi Mei mwaka 2017, nchi hizi mbili zilisaini makubaliano ya kuanza utekelezaji wa mradi huu. Na baada ya hapo yako mambo mawili yaliyotolewa maelekezo. Jambo la kwanza ambalo ningependa niliseme leo, mlituagiza tukamilishe majadiliano ya kuanza utekelezaji wa mradi huu. Naomba nilete taarifa mbele yenu katika tukio hili muhimu kwamba kuanzia tarehe hiyo tulianza majadiliano ya kuhakikisha kwamba mradi huu wa kusafirisha mafuta ghafi kutoka Hoima nchini Uganda hadi Tanga Chongoreni Tanzania yalianza. Na yako mambo takriban mambo 56 yalijadiliwa, na napenda nitoe taarifa kwamba mpaka siku ya leo yameshakamilika na timu sasa ziko tayari kusaini mbele yenu kama ambavyo umeelekeza. Lakini jambo la pili, tarehe 13 Septemba Mheshimiwa Rais mlikutana Chato na kutoa maelekezo tukamilisha mambo yaliyokuwa yamebaki. Napenda nitoe taarifa kwamba masuala ambayo mlielekeza pia yamekamilika. Kwa ni jambo ambalo Mheshimiwa Rais Museveni na Mheshimiwa Rais Hassan Suluhu ningependa niwatolee taarifa kwa niaba ya timu ya wataalamu. Lakini katika hilo napenda nitoe shukrani Mheshimiwa Rais Museveni na Rais Suluhu Hassan kwamba timu ya wataalamu ikiongozwa na mwanasheria mkuu wa serikali katika majadiliano, ningependa tutambue uwepo, na kwa heshima hiyo Mheshimiwa mwanasheria mkuu wa serikali ungependa kusimama kwa niaba ya wataalamu ili timu iweze kukufahamu. Asante sana. Lakini pia aliwakilishwa na Mheshimiwa Waziri Profesa Kabudi aliyekuwa na mchango mkubwa sana katika masuala mengi ya majadiliano. Kwa niaba ya serikali na niaba ya waziri ningependa nitambue. Lakini pia tulikuwa na Governor wa Benki Kuu ya Tanzania ambaye alishiriki sana katika majadiliano mengi ya kikodi na kimfumo ya uchumi kwa niaba ya nchi yetu. Nitambue pia uwepo na ushiriki wa Katibu Mkuu masuala ya mambo ya nje. Ni watu ambao wametusaidia sana katika protokali ya mazungumzo. Na kwa niaba ya serikali pia nitambue uwepo mkurugenzi mtendaji mkuu wa kampuni ya mafuta nchini Tanzania, Dr. Mataragio. Kipekee kabisa nitambue ushiriki mkubwa Mheshimiwa balozi wetu Aziz akituwakilisha hapa nchini Uganda. Ilikuwa ni sehemu kubwa sana ya coordination kwa niaba ya wataalamu. Waheshimiwa marais, tunao timu ambayo haikuweza kufika hapa, lakini nitambue tu kwa kweli ushiriki wao ambao wafanya kazi kwa kazi kubwa. Hilo lilikuwa ni jambo la kwanza. Jambo la pili, Mheshimiwa marais, kwa niaba ya wataalamu wa Tanzania, napenda nichukue nafasi kuhakikishieni kwamba utekelezaji wa mradi huu baada ya sahihi zitakaanza kutiwa leo, tunakwenda kusimamia mradi huu kwa kasi kubwa, kwa ubunifu mkubwa na kwa kweli kwa weledi mkubwa, ili ukamilike ndani ya miaka mitatu ya ujenzi wa mradi huu. Na kama mnavyojua, mradi utagharimu takriban dola za Marekani bilioni 3.5 ili manufaa ya mradi huu yapatikane kwa pande zote mbili, Uganda na Tanzania, lakini pia na wadau wetu wa Faransa pamoja na China. Baada ya kusema hayo, asanteni sana kwa kunipa nafasi.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, it has been a long and challenging journey, although very insightful and rewarding. I personally, 7 years ago, I was in the civil service and I coordinated the environment pillar of this project. And when I joined politics, I also wish to thank His Excellency the President for entrusting me to finalize this project today. Your Excellencies, the teams on both sides, and that's government and the joint venture partners, have worked extremely hard to ensure that we arrive at this critical point when we are launching the projects. Your Excellencies, last night, I think some people didn't sleep. The Attorney General, I think, was awake up to 3 a.m. to ensure that we have a successful day. Thank you very much for all those who put in effort. Your Excellencies, the negotiations are now concluded, and on the Ugandan side, we are ready to sign the host government agreement, the tariff and transportation agreement, and the shareholding agreement for the EACOP. And I would request, say after today, I will now be ready to table a bill which we call the East African Crude Oil Pipeline Bill for the government of Uganda. We are already ready with a draft, and we're only waiting for the HGA to be signed. So I'll be tabling this before Cabinet and Parliament so that it is enacted into a law. I would also request my counterpart in Tanzania that you expedite the process of preparing a similar bill so that we can harmonize the processes. Your Excellencies, these projects have caused a lot of excitement among Ugandans. For 3 days, I've been receiving calls from Ugandans all over, and they asked, some of them wanted to attend this function. But because of COVID, I told them you can watch on radio. Some of them want to know when the oil is coming out, because everybody is very excited and in high gear to see that we are signing this and concluding this process today. So thank you very much for those who have put in a lot of effort for us to realize a successful day today. Your Excellencies, as I conclude, I once again congratulate you, the ministers, the joint venture partners, and the people of Uganda and Tanzania on this historic launch of the EACOP, and look forward to the next steps with the hope, optimism, and courage. I thank you for God and my country.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Before I call our next speaker, allow me, Your Excellencies, to recognize the people that we've been working with to see this day a success that are here with us. We have Mr. Francis Nagimesi, Director, Uganda National Company. We have Mr. Ernest Rubondo, Executive Director, Petroleum Authority of Uganda. We have the Chief Executive Officer of Uganda National Oil Company, Proscobia Nabanja. Irene Vatebe, Commissioner, Midstream in the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. Wave to the people. Ali, Director, Petroleum Authority. Ali Sekatawa. Peter Mulisa, CEO UNOC. Yes, that's it. Thank you very much. May I now call upon the President of SINOC to make your remarks.
Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Excellency, President of United Republic of Tanzania, the Minister, Governors, Chairman of Hotel, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's a pleasure and honor for me and the entire oil and gas industry in the East Africa region to witness a historical milestone in the oil and gas sector. CNOC, together with our partner, is committed to ensure the efficiency and effective development of Kingfisher, Tilinga, and EACOP in an environmentally friendly and sustainable manner. We have progressed a number of milestones and made great achievements, including the historic moment like today. We will keep moving forward to the right direction, which will lead us to the first oil. This milestone achieved today will bring Ugandan and the other East Africa people with various opportunities and benefits. We are hoping to encourage the East Africa people, particularly the Ugandan and Tanzania, to enhance their capabilities and involve more into the industrial, especially the development phase that is unfolding. I wish all of us stay healthy and continue effort to achieve our first oil target. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chen, President of SINOC. I also recognize the presence of the Deputy Secretary to Treasury, Mr. Patrick Ochailap. May I now invite the CEO and Chairman of Total to make his remarks.
Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Excellency, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Honorable Ministers from Uganda and Tanzania, the Executive Director of the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, President of SINUC Uganda, CEO of Uganda National Oil Company, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my immense pleasure and honor to be here with you today on this momentous occasion in the history of the friendship between Uganda and Tanzania, Total and SINUC. I would say that I am very happy, personally, to be once again with all of you here in the Pearl of Africa, like a famous political leader said one day. But I'm also very happy that President Museveni has selected this historic date of April 11th and convinced me to come and to share this historic date of, in fact, the common history between Tanzania and Uganda, and that on this opportunity invited His Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan to join him here in Uganda. Really, this is a major, an historic milestone in the journey of the whole history, not only for Uganda and Tanzania, but for East Africa and for the world. And I would say that somebody wrote in my speech, an incredible day. Maybe it would have been incredible 2 years ago, but thanks to your commitment, personal commitment, President Museveni, and I will always remember a famous night in November 19, when both we decided that we should make that project real. It took a little more time than expected by you because of COVID, but today we are here and we will are launching this project. It's a very large project, one of the largest which will be developed on this continent. It represents an effort, an investment of more than $10 billion between the development upstream in Tanga and Kingfisher and with the pipeline called EACOP. So again, thank you very much for your commitment. It would have not been possible without your personal involvement. And I would also say thank you to President Hassan, who has already demonstrated in a short tenure is by your presence today and by your personal and positive decision about Tanzania participation to the EACOP project, that you have really an outstanding interest for these projects. Again, without both of you, without all persons in this room, this would not be possible. We have a lot. I would say this is an historic day, and we must all enjoy it, as I'm enjoying it, but we should not forget that it's just the beginning of a journey, because it will take 5 years before to see the oil flowing from Uganda to Tanzania, not 4 years, sorry. I don't try to negotiate again. Early 2025. But, you know, this is where we'll spend this $10 billion. And we have to do it in an efficient way, like my colleague of SINUC said, together. It's not only the role of Total as operator, SINUC as operator, and the joint company. This will be made possible to be efficient if we continue to demonstrate during the coming weeks, months, years, the same spirit of partnerships to find pragmatic solutions. When we begin to spend the money, we need action, and negotiations have been long, too long maybe, but now we have put in place a solid framework. We should allow all of us together to deliver this project with one objective again, to see the first oil tanker at Tanga in early 2025. I will not be long to remind, as well as Your Excellency Minister of Energy remind us, that there are some specific and challenges, because these are onshore projects. Onshore projects in our industry, offshore is much easier than onshore, because onshore, of course, we have to work on lands, we have to reclaim lands, we have to work with the population, local populations, we have to work with biodiversity, and I would say in your two countries, the biodiversity is quite unique. I say Pearl of Africa for Uganda. I would remember that Tanzania is a country of King Lion when I was young, you know, and is a country of Serengeti, of Kilimanjaro, of Zanzibar, of course, all places which deserve, of course, that we take care of not only the natural resource, but also the way we will produce them environmentally, and also taking care on the social impacts of these projects. These three projects, will deliver a lot of in-country value for both Uganda and Tanzania, but it will not be a success if we are not demonstrating that we are exemplarity in terms of environmental preservation and also taking care of people, because sustainable development is first and foremost a matter of people and local population, and of course of local content of the projects. I think we will have an objective that at least 20% of all spendings will be spent locally, and there is a lot to be done, and if we can do more, I can ensure, Mr. President, Mrs. President, that we'll do it for the benefit of all of your population, your citizens, and your countries. I will not be longer, I've been a little long already, but again, for me personally, because I'm involved in this project for 12 years. I was young when I decided that Total should try to acquire some shares from Tullow. It was in 2009. Young, I'm not so old, in fact. It took quite a long time to be here today. And again, so it's with a certain patience and enthusiasm that I attend this meeting. And I would dare to ask both presidents to bring back to Paris a small souvenir on this historic program by asking them to put their signature so that I can show to the people of Total within the whole company that yes, we are building together the history of two countries, of our companies, and Sinuk, with our friends of Sinuk. Thank you again to both, and I bring the program to you. I put the mass first. Thank you again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Patrick Poyane. Thank you, Excellencies. Thank you, Mr. Patrick Poyane, for those remarks. We now move on to the signing of the agreements. And we will start with the host government agreement, of which signatories are the Honorable Minister of Energy and Mineral Development, Uganda, together with the EACOP company, represented by the MD of EACOP, and witnessed by the President of Africa, Total. Thank you very much, Ms. Bateve and Mr. Mlisa. The next agreement to be signed is the shareholders' agreement. Signatories are the Chairman Board of National Pipeline Company, UNOC, Total CEO, Total Exploration and Production, SINUC President, Uganda, the Managing Director of Tanzania Petroleum Directorate Corporation, and the Managing Director of EACOP. Shall we move quickly? Your Excellencies and ladies and gentlemen, the agreement that is being signed now, the shareholders' agreement, allows the EACOP to be built because those are the people who are going to invest in the pipeline. We thank you very much. Last but not least, the next agreement is the tariff and transportation agreement. This is between the EACOP and everybody who will be utilizing it to transport crude. That will be UNOC, represented by the Chief Executive Officer of UNOC, Total, represented by the Chief Executive Officer of Total, and SINUC, represented by the President of SINUC. with this agreement, the tariff and transportation agreement, it will ensure that those who utilize the pipeline will be able to pay the fee, or what we call the tariff, to utilize that pipeline. Thank you so very much. That marks the end of the signing ceremony of the agreements. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Sam Kutesa, who will invite His Excellency the President, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, to invite his chief guest, Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, to address us. I thank you.
Your Excellency, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, Your Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, business leaders, honorable ministers, ladies and gentlemen, today we have yet witnessed another milestone in the bilateral relations between the United Republic of Tanzania and the the Republic of Uganda. The signing of these agreements and indeed kickstarting the process of building the pipeline and this project is a momentous day. I recall, Your Excellency, the lengthy process you took after considering several options on which route this pipeline should be built. Although these considerations were largely influenced by economic factors, but there was also the strong historical relations between the Republic of Uganda and the Republic of Tanzania. We are therefore delighted that today we see that thought process coming to fruition. We are now going to be listening to our leaders, and it is a great honor and privilege for me to invite Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, to address us. Your Excellency.
There. Okay. Your Excellency, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, honorable ministers and deputy ministers from Tanzania and Uganda here present, representatives of the international oil companies led by Total of France, Excellencies, ambassadors and high commissioners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm greatly honored to join you today to witness this historic event of the signing of the tripartite agreement for the construction of the East African crude oil pipeline from Hoima, Uganda to Tanga Port, Tanzania, which upon completion will be the longest heated pipeline in the world. Before I go further, allow me to express my sincere sense of gratitude to my brother, His Excellency President Museveni, for the cordial invitation and warm hospitality that he has accorded to me and my entire delegation. On this note, I also wish to commend him for the meticulous organization of this event. It is worth noting that this event was scheduled to take place on the 22nd of March this year. However, it didn't due to sudden and untimely demise of my predecessor, the late President Dr. John Pombe Magufuli. And so once again, I seize this opportunity to thank President Museveni, the government of Uganda, as well as our cooperating partners, the international oil companies, for their decision to postpone this event. Indeed, this kind of gesture portrays a a true definition of friendship and partnership. We thank you very much, Your Excellency. We all know how the late President Magufuli was an ardent and staunch supporter of this project, and so postponing the event was an honor to his commitment and the realization of this project. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the signing of this agreement is an auspicious occasion, not just for Uganda and Tanzania, but the entire East Africa region. As we are all aware, this project will have an impact on socio-economic development and geostrategic dynamics. Among other benefits, the project will yield revenues to both countries while creating short and long-term employment for both highly skilled and semi-skilled professionals, as well as casual laborers, thus addressing the unemployment challenge, especially among the youth. It is expected that more than 10,000 employment opportunities are expected to be created during execution and upon its completion. Apart from socioeconomic benefits, the project will also stimulate trade, investment, as well as unlocking the East Africa's oil potential, thus attracting more investors. More importantly, this project will strengthen strategic partnership and cooperation between our two brotherly countries, and in addition, it will forge further the regional integration and people's interaction. It is my firm belief that this project, once completed, will be of an advantage to both our countries and our region at large. And on this note, allow me to commend all parties involved for their dedicated commitment and unyielding sacrifice towards the realization of this common goal. I'm quite conversant that prior to the implementation of this project, there are still pending issues that need to be addressed. And in this regard, I urge all parties to work together to address the remaining issues to ensure the expeditious start of this project. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, our region is well endowed with abundant natural resources, which includes oil, gas, minerals, diverse number of wildlife and plants, as well as livestock and marine ecosystems. In order to fully and effectively exploit and utilize these resources, we need quality infrastructure. Without it, economic development would just be a myth. And in this respect, I'm pleased to note that our countries have now embarked on building strategic infrastructure to support these endeavors. Apart from the pipeline, we have embarked on the construction of roads, ports, airports, railways, as well as power plants to generate electricity. This is indeed a significant step in the right direction. I humbly wish to encourage all the countries in the region to continue building these infrastructures and projects that shall spur our economic growth. Your Excellency President Museveni, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, let me once again reiterate my heartfelt appreciation to you and the entire people of Uganda for a fraternal and warm welcome in this beautiful city of Entebbe, and in this occasion in particular. This is my first trip outside my country since I took oath of an office, and so I thank you very much for this invitation. And I'm very happy to be in Uganda. Uganda and Tanzania are not only neighbors and joined by Kagera River and Lake Victoria, but are also friends and blood brothers. For decades long, we have kept a close cooperation at bilateral, regional, and multilateral fora. And in this respect, I wish to assure you, Your Excellency, and through you, the government and the brotherly people of Uganda, that under my stewardship, I'll cement further the existing relations and scale to a greater heights new areas of cooperation for the mutual benefit of our two countries and our peoples. I thank you very much, Your Excellency, and I thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan for these insightful words, and please give her another round of applause. It's now my pleasure and honor to invite our chief host, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, to come and address us. Mr. President.
Your Excellency, President Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, and your esteemed delegation, the Chief Executive Officer, Chairman, and delegation from Total Français, the President and delegation from SIKU, China, honorable ministers, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, Samia Hassan, and your distinguished delegation, you are most welcome to your brother country of Uganda. Again, condolences on account of the death recently of our brother, His Excellency Magufuli. Also, congratulations on your inauguration as President of the United Republic of Tanzania. Thank you for responding to my invitation to join us and the Total Company of France and the SIKU Company of China to sign the agreement of the East African pipeline from Hoima to Tanga. Your brother country of Uganda discovered petroleum and gas in 2006. It has taken these 15 years before the first oil on account of the divergent perceptions between us and the oil companies. Initially, I did not favor the idea of pipeline. My question was, why export the oil? Don't the East Africans need the oil? In this thinking, I preferred an oil refinery only, so that we use the extractable oil out of the 6.5 billion barrels confirmed in only 20% of the potential area in the Mwitanzige and Butumbi valleys, known as the Albertine Graben by foreigners, to satisfy the demand for the refined products for Uganda, northwestern Tanzania, western Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, Eastern Congo, South Sudan, and southwestern Ethiopia with cheaper products on account of the lower transport costs. The demand in this zone is now 98,000 barrels per day. Uganda's demand is currently 39,000 barrels per day. At the price of $50 per barrel, equivalent to about $63 barrel for refined products, this locally refined petroleum would knock off $1.22 billion from Uganda's import expenditure for petrol, diesel, aviation fuel, and tar for the roads. If you include the petroleum byproducts, such as plastics, the saving on the import bill will add another $400 million. So that would make it almost $1.7 billion saving on imports. Using the extractable portion of the 6.5 billion barrels confirmed, this would ensure petroleum self-sufficiency for the Lake Victoria Basin countries and those neighboring them for a period of 38 years based on the present consumption levels. This oil refinery would be owned jointly by the East African countries if they agreed to participate. So that was my original plan. Why pipeline? Why export the oil? I had a rumor that there were human beings here who need the oil. Why do you take it away from them and you take it to others? Why don't they deal with the self-sufficiency? The oil companies, however, were biased in favor of exporting crude oil only. For them, chukua nje. Pangu, bakisha hapa ndani. The compromise then was, okay, let us have both, the refinery and the pipeline. So that's why we are here now. Most of this was when the Tanzanian route was not in the picture. We were still debating about Mombasa and Lamu of Kenya. When the Tanzanian route of Tanga became more viable, a new consideration entered my mind: the historical role of Tanzania in the liberation of Uganda in both 1978-79 and 1985-86. On these two occasions, Mwalimu Nyerere played a very important role. In the 1978-79 war, TPDF played the major role in removing Idi Amin from power. In 1985-86, Mwalimu Nyerere gave us 5,000 rifles at the right time, just before the assault on Kampala, starting on the 17th of January, 1986. Kenya, of course, is a brother country, just like Tanzania. However, historically, there is this unique role of Tanzania. I'm therefore most satisfied that the project will make a modest contribution to the development of Tanzania. It cannot compensate for the huge sacrifice Tanzania made for the defeat of Idi Amin and the liberation of the whole of Southern Africa, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Angola, Namibia, and South Africa. It is just a modest contribution. Moreover, this pipeline project can be a core of bigger developments if the brothers in Congo and South Sudan choose to also use it for their oil. At the maximum, it can carry 230,000 barrels per day. Besides, the same corridor can take a return gas pipeline supplying Tanzanian and Mozambican gas to Uganda and the Great Lakes region. We can have a return using that corridor, a return gas pipeline, because we need gas here. We need gas for iron ore. We've got iron ore, but processing it is, we don't have enough gas. We have some gas, but it's not enough. And the Ugandans, I think they're also getting a bit modernized. Cooking with firewood is not a good idea. So gas from Mozambique, from Tanzania. Our brother countries have got a lot of gas. Songo Zamani, I think that was the first one, Songo 1968. I salute the government of Tanzania for the tax concessions they made to keep the tariff paid by the owners of the oil to be limited to $12.77 per barrel. Recently, Uganda also made concessions regarding the land and export charges. This will in effect push the tariff to US $13.03 per barrel, just a small little bit up. The Lamu route was proposing US $15.8 per barrel as tariff. All this is on account of the extractable portion of the 6.5 billion barrels confirmed and licensed for production, as already pointed out. This is, however, only 20% of the Mwitanzige-Butumbi Basin, known to foreigners as the Albertine Graben. There is a high chance for more oil and gas to be found in the remaining 80% of the oil province, especially in the Mwitanzige area, such as Kibiro, Butiaba, etc. Then there is a totally new hydrocarbon zone in the northeast of the country, in the Mount Kadam Basin. There are oil seepages on the surface. There are source rocks. There are reservoir rocks. And there are also trap rocks, accumulation rocks, that have been seen by our experts. This petroleum, as Kasande was saying, the PS, was actually discovered by our experts. What he was telling you in 1986, when Shell came to see me to give me a license, I asked a question. Is there anybody who knows anything about oil in Uganda? There was nobody. They brought me a Ghanaian from Bank of Uganda, who was an economist, and his only knowledge of petroleum was that he was handling the import papers of petroleum products. So I said I cannot sign an agreement with ignorance on my side. So that's when I told the minister to pick these young people who had degrees in chemistry, degrees in physics, degrees in geology, to go for masters in petroleum studies in Imperial College London, University of Aberdeen, and so on. So they went, and they came back in 1989. When they came back, I called Shell. You come back. I'm now ready to negotiate. Shell had abandoned me. They said, no, we are no longer interested. Why? because the Soviet Union had now opened up. There was a lot of oil in the Soviet Union, so Shell had opportunistically abandoned me. So I said, okay, doesn't matter, we shall look for the oil ourselves. So these are the people who looked for the oil and saw it through aeromagnetic, through seismological, through gravity, something. Then it now remained to drill and confirm. That's how the oil companies came in. They came in to drill, but to drill for what we already knew, to confirm. So I congratulate that team. How many of you are here? Stand up and they see you, the whole group, the ones who are here. But you come here. Ija na group yao. Awa wana beserikiro. Mwijahano. Anybody useful? If you are not useful, don't come, please. Okay, stand up, all of you together now. And they capture you. These are just, how big is your group now? How big is your group? Yes. These are degree holders. Degree holders. So that's how we created a petroleum unit in the Ministry of Energy. These are very highly qualified people. They know more about the oil than even the oil companies. Thank you very much. So there is that new province, the Karamoja zone. If the brother countries work together, there is then the oil in Congo and South Sudan. This pipeline could turn out to be a very important project that may serve the region, not only in the short term, but also in the medium, if not the long term. This project should, in addition to what we have said, serve to awaken all Africans that prosperity and strategic security are only possible if we use the Pan-Africanist approach that gives us a bigger market and rationalizes economic linkages. I cannot end these brief remarks without thanking Her Excellency Samia Hassan for indulging my sentimental request of conducting this signing ceremony on the 11th of April 2021. Munkumiro mungaro bana. Engaro mbadechi muri bakodo. 42 years ago, this same day is when the Tanzanian troops of 20th Division captured Kampala and enabled the Ugandan Army officer, Oito Jog, to announce the fall of Idi Amin and ready Uganda, this very day. At that very moment, with my rapidly growing Fronosa troops operating with another TPDF division, the Task Force Division under Major General Cyrus Mayunga, I was on the Mbarara front. 20th Division was under General Musuguri. Musuguri, not Munguri. This one who wrote. The name is Musuguri. Today, therefore, is a triple victory for Tanzania and Uganda. Ushindi wa mara tatu. Number one, military. Kukumbuka. Number two, political, because military could not go without political cooperation with Mwalimu. And number three, now economic. Long live Tanzania, long live Uganda, long live President Hassan. Imekwenda wapi? Iko hapa. My last page had got this. I thank Your Excellency and your delegation for coming to this function. I also salute the people of Tanzania for agreeing to host the project. Mungu ebariki Uganda, ebariki Tanzania, ebariki Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency President Museveni, for both incisive and historical speech on this special occasion. May I now request that their Excellencies sign the joint communique, which will be read out after they have signed it. There. Your Excellencies, I will now read out the joint communique that you have just signed. The joint communique between the President of the Republic of Uganda and the President of the United Republic of Tanzania on the implementation of the East African crude oil pipeline project on the 11th of April, 2021, at the State House in Entebbe, Uganda. Noting that on 31st March 2021, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, invited Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, to attend and witness the signing ceremony of the host government agreement between the government of Uganda and the Republic of Uganda and EACOP company on 11th April 2021 at State House in Entebbe, Uganda. Noting that the two heads of state held bilateral talks on a wide range of issues of mutual interest and expressed their satisfaction with the excellent relations and cooperation that so happily exists between the two countries, and further reiterated the commitment to deepen cooperation in various areas, including trade, infrastructure, transport, and social affairs. Further noting that the heads of state observed a minute of silence on the passing on of the late President, His Excellency Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, the fifth President of the United Republic of Tanzania. In this regard, the two presidents cherished the immense contribution of the late President Magufuli to working towards the cause of the East African community, fostering and nurturing bilateral relations and cooperation between the two countries, and providing an unequivocal support and commitment to the realization and implementation of the strategic East African crude oil pipeline project. Understanding that 26th May 2017, the government of the Republic of Uganda and the United Republic of Tanzania signed the Intergovernmental Agreement, IGA, on the implementation of the East African crude oil pipeline project. Recalling the commitments made by His Excellency, the late Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, the fifth President of the United Republic of Tanzania, and His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, during their meeting at Chato, Gate, Tanzania on 13th September 2020, that each state party to conclude the host agreement with EACOP project company commenced negotiations of all pending project agreements with immediate effect and expedite the implementation of EACOP project. Acknowledging the progress made in negotiations and finalization of the host agreement between the United Republic of Tanzania and the EACOP company, and commending the signing of the host government agreement between the government of the Republic of Uganda and the EACOP company on the 11th April 2021, and further noting that all outstanding issues related to EACOP project have been amicably resolved, and also recognizing that the shareholding agreement has also been signed by all stakeholders on 11th of April 2021, reiterating their commitment and realization of the EACOP project for the benefit of the people of the Republic of Uganda and the United Republic of Tanzania in the spirit of East African cooperation. Now, therefore, the two heads of state agree and direct as follows. One, that each state party takes all necessary steps required for the implementation of the EACOP project. Two, that having concluded the tariff and transportation agreement and the host government agreement for the Republic of Uganda and the shareholders agreement for shareholders to the EACOP company, the companies can now launch the EACOP project and award the main engineering, procurement, and construction projects. 3, the United Republic of Tanzania to finalize signing of the host agreement and related agreements between the government and EACOP company, dated at Entebbe, Uganda, on the 11th day of April, 2021, and signed by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of the Republic of Uganda, Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania. I thank you. The next is a group photograph outside, and thereafter, for invited guests, the luncheon hosted by His Excellency the President.